the wisdom of acceptance. Embracing what is, letting go of what isn't. We spend much of our lives fighting a battle that we are guaranteed to lose. We argue with reality, resent the past, fear the future, and waste countless hours wishing circumstances were different from what they are. We become frustrated when people fail to meet our expectations, angry when life refuses to follow our carefully crafted plans, and anxious whenever uncertainty enters our path. We convince ourselves that happiness is waiting just beyond the next achievement, the next promotion, the next relationship, or the next solution to our problems. Yet even when we reach those milestones, peace often remains just out of reach. Why? Because the greatest source of our suffering is rarely the world itself. More often, it is our relentless resistance to the world as it is. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers recognized this timeless truth. They understood that while human civilization changes, human nature remains remarkably constant. People still chase certainty in an uncertain world. They still seek permanence in things that are destined to change. They still exhaust themselves trying to control events, people, and outcomes that have never been within their power. Against this endless struggle, the Stoics offered a remarkably simple, yet profoundly transformative principle. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you choose to respond. This idea lies at the very heart of Stoicism. It is the foundation upon which inner peace, resilience, and emotional freedom are built. Today, we explore one of the philosophy's greatest teachings, the wisdom of acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean abandoning ambition, tolerating injustice, or refusing to improve your circumstances. Instead, it means recognizing reality before attempting to change it. It means refusing to waste your precious energy fighting facts that already exist. Only when you accept reality can you begin responding to it wisely. Marcus Aurelius captured this principle in one of the most memorable passages from his Meditations. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. These words are far more powerful when we remember the man who wrote them. Marcus was not living a peaceful philosophical life removed from hardship. He ruled the Roman Empire during years of war, political unrest, famine, and the devastating Antonine Plague. Every decision he made carried enormous consequences. He experienced betrayal, buried loved ones, and carried responsibilities few people could imagine. Yet, despite living amid constant uncertainty, he repeatedly reminded himself that tranquility could never come from controlling external events. It could only come from governing his own thoughts. The Stoics proposed a stronger foundation. Instead of anchoring your happiness to external events, anchor it to your character. Let your peace depend upon your ability to think clearly, act honorably, and respond wisely regardless of circumstances. This is not emotional detachment from life. It is emotional independence from what you cannot control. This is precisely what the Stoic teacher Epictetus meant when he wrote that people are disturbed not by things themselves, but by the opinions they form about those things. He was not suggesting that painful events are pleasant or insignificant. Rather, he understood that between every event and every emotional reaction lies a space occupied by judgment. It is within that space that freedom exists. The moment we stop demanding that reality obey our wishes, we recover the strength to respond with reason instead of emotion. And as we will discover, that simple shift is where the journey toward genuine serenity truly begins. Once we understand that resistance creates unnecessary suffering, the next question naturally arises. What does acceptance actually look like in practice? It begins with one simple but deeply transformative sentence. This is the reality before me. Not because you approve of it, not because you wanted it, but because denying it will never make it disappear. Acceptance is the moment you stop arguing with facts and start working with them. It is the bridge between emotional reaction and wise action. This idea is closely connected to one of Stoicism's most important teachings, known as the dichotomy of control. Epictetus explained that some things are within our control and others are not. Our opinions, choices, values, and actions belong to us. The opinions of others, the weather, the economy, our reputation, and the past do not. Most people spend the majority of their lives investing energy in the second category, while neglecting the first. They obsess over what strangers think of them, replay conversations that can never be changed, and worry endlessly about tomorrow's uncertainties. In doing so, they surrender control over the very thing that truly belongs to them, their own character. The Stoics took this idea even further through the practice of Amor Fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. Rather than merely tolerating difficult circumstances, they encouraged embracing them as opportunities for growth. This does not mean enjoying pain or seeking hardship for its own sake. Instead, it means recognizing that every challenge contains material for developing wisdom, courage, patience, discipline, or compassion. A comfortable life rarely reveals our true character. Adversity does. Just as fire tempers steel, hardship reveals strengths we never knew we possessed. Seneca frequently reminded his students that difficulties are not signs that life is unfair but opportunities to exercise virtue. A person cannot develop courage without facing fear. They cannot cultivate patience without encountering frustration. They cannot practice forgiveness unless they have first been hurt. Every obstacle, unpleasant as it may seem, becomes a chance to strengthen the qualities that define an excellent human being. In this way, fate becomes not an enemy to defeat but a teacher to learn from. This perspective transforms the meaning of hardship. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "What is this trying to teach me?" Instead of seeing every setback as proof that life has gone wrong, they begin to see each challenge as another opportunity to practice virtue. The external event remains the same, but its meaning changes completely. What once appeared to be only suffering now becomes training for the mind. Of course, none of this happens overnight. Acceptance is not a switch that can be flipped once and forgotten. It is a discipline that must be practiced every day. There will be moments when frustration returns, when fear overwhelms reason, or when disappointment clouds judgment. The Stoics never expected perfection, they expected progress. Every difficult moment becomes another chance to pause, breathe, and remind yourself of a simple truth. I cannot always choose my circumstances, but I can always choose the kind of person I will be within them. That quiet decision, repeated day after day, slowly transforms acceptance from a philosophical idea into a way of living. In the end, it prepares us for perhaps the greatest challenge of all. Not accepting the world around us, but accepting ourselves and the impermanent nature of everything we love. Perhaps the most difficult form of acceptance is not accepting the world around us, but accepting ourselves. Many people spend years carrying the weight of past mistakes, replaying old failures, regretting words they cannot take back, and punishing themselves for decisions that belong to another version of who they once were. They become trapped in an endless conversation with the past, hoping that guilt alone can somehow rewrite history. But the Stoics understood that the past is beyond our control. It is a closed chapter. We may learn from it, but we cannot relive it. Every moment spent wishing yesterday had unfolded differently is a moment stolen from the only time in which we can actually act, the present. The same wisdom applies to our relationships with others. Much of our suffering comes not from people's actions themselves, but from our expectation that they should always behave according to our standards. We expect honesty from those who deceive, gratitude from those who are selfish, patience from those who are ruled by anger. When reality fails to match our expectations, resentment takes root. Yet Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that people act according to the understanding they possess. Some are guided by wisdom, while others are driven by ignorance, fear, or desire. This does not excuse harmful behavior, but it allows us to stop carrying the unnecessary burden of hatred. As the Stoics believed, holding on to resentment is like grasping a burning coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the first person to be burned. When hardship inevitably arrives, the practiced Stoic does not ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What now?" They understand that complaining about reality changes nothing, while responding wisely changes everything. Marcus Aurelius expressed this beautifully when he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every obstacle contains an opportunity to strengthen your character. Every disappointment teaches patience. Every uncertainty develops courage. Every setback invites resilience. The obstacle itself becomes part of the path forward." Ultimately, the wisdom of acceptance is not about lowering your expectations or abandoning your dreams. It is about refusing to waste your life fighting battles that cannot be won. It is about directing your attention toward the one thing that has always been within your power: your own mind, your own choices, and your own character. External events will continue to change. Fortune will rise and fall. People will come and go. Success and failure will alternate throughout your life. But the person you choose to become in response to those events remains entirely your responsibility. Acceptance is not a single decision made once in a lifetime. It is a practice renewed every morning. It is the quiet habit of meeting reality without resentment, acting without fear, and letting go without bitterness. The more faithfully you practice it, the more you discover a profound truth the Stoics understood centuries ago. Peace is not found when life finally becomes easy. Peace is found when you stop demanding that life be different from what it is. Only then do you realize that true freedom has never depended on controlling the world. It has always depended on mastering yourself. Which area of your life are you still resisting, and what would change if you chose acceptance instead? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this reflection brought you clarity, consider subscribing for more timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy. Until next time, protect your inner peace, strengthen your character, and remember, you cannot always control the storm, but you can always choose how you sail through it.